Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. With love, Panashe Kimberley, with me, Panashe Kimberley. Today is another day, another Wednesday. If you're new here, I advise you subscribe because you're going to love it here. We're here to learn, to be inspired, to be uplifted, and to enjoy ourselves with different people who I think are very interesting, are very profound, who have very deep life stories. And I think it's something you need. So if we are adding value to your life, tell a friend to tell a friend and leave a subscribe. I'm on my road to 10,000 subscribers and I'm somewhere in the 900 and something. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. As is custom on this podcast, allow me to read my letter concerning the guest of the day because I like to honor my guests and I like to give them their flowers. So here we go. You may already know her face. You've probably seen her light up a room, a runway, or a screen. But behind the beauty and the accolades is a woman whose story runs deep and whose heart runs even deeper. My guest today is one of those people who wears many hats, and she wears them well. Model, entrepreneur, trained beauty therapist, law student, mother, and a woman who walks closely with God. Over the years, she's won many titles like Miss Curvy Zimbabwe, Face of Harare. She's done a couple of things. And however, if you've spent time around her, you'll know that her real crown is her character. She's an amazing mom, friend, and role model. And she's that girl. She's that girl. She's built a business from the ground up. She's touched lives through quiet acts of kindness, and she continues to show up as herself, stylish, soulful, and grounded in faith. She just doesn't turn heads, she turns hearts toward purpose. In this conversation, we are going beyond headlines and hashtags and into the heart of the woman many already love and appreciate even more. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the podcast the amazing Tanya, aka Tanya the Therapist. Yes.
Wow, Panashe, wow. You're going to have to send me that intro.
I will actually.
I've never been introduced that way.
Yeah, I like to give people their flowers over here.
That was beautiful, to say the least.
You've done a lot. We've been seeing your work, and we appreciate everything that you do. It's a very what's it called? You're like a banner for women, you know, and we love that here.
That is very kind of you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What an intro. Wow. Just sucking it all in.
Yes. You should.
Thank you.
All right, so yes, we love you here. We love your work. We love everything that you've done. But we are not here to talk about your work. Okay. We're here to talk about you as an individual, yes.
Okay.
So let's start at the very beginning.
Right.
Tanya, the girl, the young girl, you know, the little girl. Tell us about her. What was she like? How'd she grow up and stuff?
Okay, so Tanya, the young girl, I was actually born in Chitungwiza.
Okay.
So I spent the greater part of my young life in Zingeza 4. And but I went to boarding school very early on. I was in grade 3 actually, when I left home to be in boarding school. So that really shaped who I became and who I've become. Because imagine I'm all the way in Nyanga.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Mamelori and I'm away from parents, from familiarity, and I had to stand up for myself. It was very hard at first when I went there because, you know, I would cry myself to sleep. I was missing home. I was young. I was in grade 3, exactly. I'd never been away from home for that long. Luckily, I had my elder brother with me. Okay. So, but he was in grade 5. He was just a grade or 2 above me, and he took care of me, great care of me. Okay. So at least I had a piece of home with him. Okay. So growing up, that was pretty much it. Life in boarding school, life away from home, and it taught me independence.
Okay.
So I'm fiercely independent. I can survive in any environment, and those are the things that were instilled in me from the time I was in primary school. And I was very playful, very, very talkative.
Okay.
But for some reason, leadership always used to follow me.
Okay.
I remember I was ordained a prefect in grade 5,
Okay.
and my father drove all the way to Nyanga to say, no, not my child.
What?
Exactly. He was like, yes. He's like, I need her to be focusing on school and not chase after other people's kids. So, Nyambe Dzakaviswa.
Sure, that's a first.
Yeah, my father was like, no,
Wow.
we're still too young. Exactly. So because I was very determined. I was just I was very good in school. I was what you would call a straight A student. Gave school my all. And I was an avid reader.
Okay.
I love reading a lot. I'm that girl who would read all the Enid Blyton books in the library. Yeah. Exactly. Mills and Boone, when I discovered love.
Yes, we've all been there.
You now have all of these imaginations, these fantasies that are brewing in your mind. James Hadley Chase, you name them, I read them.
Wow.
Yeah, that was me. And very friendly. I grew up very friendly, so I'm that girl always used to have like a horde of people around her, you know, talkative, I said that earlier, and I guess pretty much that was my childhood.
Okay. In the last, what's it called? In my last podcast, my guest said something that just made me laugh, and I want to ask you about it as a follow-up question. She said, adolescence was the pits.
So, oh my goodness, I have to share this story.
Yeah.
It really was the pits. And you know, you were very young, you were very impressionable, and you were, what's the word? Unofuririka.
Yes.
Exactly. How would you say that in English?
Impressionable.
Yeah, that. And this you're not going to believe.
Okay.
Is this a safe platform?
No, it's a very safe platform. Okay. It's a very safe platform.
So, you know, I was very late with everything in life, from the body, blooming and all of that. Even my first kiss. Did I say that out loud?
No, not really.
But that too. Yeah. And so, well, this is something that happens to all women, so I'm sure it's safe for me to talk about. All the other girls had gotten their period.
Ah, okay.
And mine was very late. So I thought, am I normal? Oh, I'm abnormal. What's happening here? Why aren't I getting my period? Guess what I did? You won't believe.
You
just
put
check
ketchup.
How do you know that? Am I not the only one?
No, it's really was my wildest. It was my wildest guess, to be honest.
I really did put ketchup on a pad.
Oh.
And I paraded myself in the whole, like, oh my goodness,
my
period's here.
Oh, bless.
So I really was surprised. You were going through all of these changes, all of these things that are happening, and you don't know whether you're on the right track or not. And I agree with the last guest that you had.
Yeah.
I agree.
So thank you for sharing that. That's gonna be a story. That's
Part of growing up, crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Don't do it. Don't do it, kids.
Well, we can't stop them.
No. They better not do it. It will come, and when it does, you won't like it even. So rather not do it. There's no rush to growing up.
Yeah, there's no. Okay, all right. You studied law, went into beauty, and then became a businesswoman. What guided these shifts? I know you said you were very fiercely independent. Yeah. Was that part of how you transitioned into these?
Life Panashe guided the shifts.
Okay.
Was at different points in my life's journey, so to speak. And I just found myself making decisions that suited the time I was in my life at the time.
Okay.
So obviously, law is what came first, because after high school, I enrolled at the UZ. I did 2 years of law, and you know, at the time they used to display your right, and so you had the pressure to do well, and I used to get distinctions. I wasn't bad.
You did say you were an A student.
Exactly. I really did give school my all, but other distractions of life were starting to happen.
Okay.
That's when I discovered modeling. Yeah, and then I realized halfway I got confused. I'm like, do I even really want to do law? Or I was pushed into doing it because I come from a family that has got, you know, lawyers, and was it because I'm talkative? So they would say things to me like, you talk a lot, you'll be a good lawyer. But I didn't like the starting part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was intense. It was
Yeah,
intense.
law can be intense.
And I'd watch my uncle every night at home. He
Reading?
wouldn't sleep.
Yeah.
You know, he's going over his cases and all that. And I thought, you know, I'm such a fun-loving girl. I didn't want to be buried behind the books and all of that. So the law thing happened. And funny story is I actually didn't intend on quitting law. I didn't intend on quitting law. I actually wanted to leave the country, to go and learn outside the country. I didn't defer my studies.
Okay.
So then when the visa bounced, I tried to go back into uni, and they gave me,
hell.
Gosh, it was, I
Wambwendere.
didn't realize exactly. So then in then giving me hell, that's when the modeling started like really firing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Vanabo pakachworo.
Okay.
I
mean,
yeah.
fire.
So I did, you know, you are young, you're stupid. Then I did the whole modeling thing. It was quite a wild ride, so much fun. I grew in that as well. And then when I had Brooklyn now, so I'm half a degree done, and then I've got this career which is not really going to go anywhere, because back in the day, modeling wasn't as celebrated as it is now.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
you know,
yes.
it really wasn't celebrated. People didn't really understand it. People came with their high moral
Campuses.
rights, and you were seen differently. To some, even an outcast. To my family, obviously, gosh, they didn't
From
take that
law
well.
to modeling.
Thank you. You can imagine. You can imagine. So then Brooklyn came, and I just sat down one day and I said, I have nothing to my name. What am I going to do with my life? I always knew I wanted to do something in beauty, but I didn't quite know what. Is it fashion? Is it what I do now, aesthetics and physiatrics? Is it makeup? What is it exactly? I didn't quite know, but I just knew that it's something that made my blood boil. It made my heart,
Your passion.
beat. Exactly. So then I enrolled.
Okay.
Yeah, at Elite School of Beauty, and I think that's the best school in the country.
Okay.
They really did, like, they went all the way. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into when I enrolled at the time. But I will say this though, no regrets.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, because, you know, just that movement, that shift from, okay, I'm going to park law of all degrees, law.
Imagine.
And I'm just going to go, you know, go be a model.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with modeling. And I absolutely love how it's growing over, you know,
you can say
over
that
the
again.
years. It's looking amazing.
shift.
Yes, it's
There's
so
a big
exciting
shift.
to see them grow. But yeah, at that time,
It wasn't like that at all. But you know, it was very exciting those days. I remember we used to fill up the HICC.
Okay.
You know, ZTA really backed up that modeling career, that modeling industry. It was
Yes.
vibrant. But you know, there was just a lot, the underbelly
It's a
of the
fast
beauty.
life,
It's
yeah.
a fast life, and it's very misunderstood.
Okay.
People don't see the Kate Mosses, the Naomi Campbells coming out of Zimbabwe, the Kendall Jenners. To them, they're just seeing girls that are brainless, that are headless chickens running around looking for men. So it's just really, it was bigger than me. I couldn't even I myself couldn't even change people's perceptions. But I'll say this though, you know, with everything that I went through, starting from law, it obviously taught me discipline
Yes.
and critical thinking. Those are things that I can never, you know,
Get rid of.
Exactly. They define who I am, because school is just so important. I can't hammer it enough. I cannot. And I always say the law of completion determines that I dictates. Sorry, I beg your pardon. It dictates that I finish my degree. And I actually wanted to enroll back this year. I did. I went to the UZ.
Okay.
But can you believe they don't take block releases anymore?
oh,
So I gotta be a student for the next 4 years of my life and not do
Wow,
school run, not
attending
run this
lectures
business.
every day?
Imagine that
Oh,
for a
okay.
37-year-old. That didn't seem. But I did go. But I was like, not to be a student like that. At least give me the freedom to do
something.
it when I can, like weekend classes or whatever. But I'm still gonna do it. So I'm just looking for the right university that accommodates my lifestyle,
Your needs,
because I'm
okay.
still a mom and
Yes,
still a
and
businesswoman.
you're a businesswoman.
Exactly. All that is not gonna stop. Yeah. So that's that with law. And when I discovered modeling allowed me you know, creativity and the power to express myself.
Okay.
You know, and it was a really beautiful journey, you know, all in all. And now with being an entrepreneur and practicing my diploma, it's my life. And with this one, you learn every day.
every day.
Panashe being in business.
Well, I'm seeing my fair share of flames with my little podcast. I can't believe what it's like with a whole business, a
They
whole
did not tell you
establishment.
these things, but these things are real.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And with this one, you are learning every day and you're learning everything from people's skills. Well, if that's what they call human resources, just business management, excuse me, sales, retail, marketing, everything. It's just a mixed dish. It's a lot.
But it's producing really good results. I mean,
Thank you.
you are a testimony of how well that's going. So
Thank you. You can't give up.
No, you can't.
Once you're in it, you're in it, stay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no going back. So my next question is going to feel a bit redundant here, but I want you to answer it from the point of view of you being a woman who is finding your way. The question is, was there a moment in your life when you had to choose yourself, even if it meant letting go of what people expected? You spoke about how your family was not too pleased about you leaving
absolutely.
law and stuff. That choosing yourself, that courage, what was it like as a woman? And then,
It was hard. I remember at the time my dear uncle and dad, I don't call him uncle, I call him my dad, my dad's brother. He was a partner at Scanlon in Holderness. He obviously saw me working for him and being groomed by him, which I also wanted to do, to be honest. And so when I left uni, he is the one person that called the university to find out if truly I had dropped out. Nobody took it well, Panashe. They didn't take it well. So I ran away. I actually started staying with my friend, Julie. Yes, I got a very good friend of mine called Julie. I said, babe, I'm moving in with you for now. I need to figure my life out. So I did that because I was so afraid. This move that I've taken, you want to believe in yourself. You want to have faith in your dreams. I also wanted to be an actress. You might not know this.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay.
I actually really did think I was going to be that girl who was going to go to Hollywood and act. It's something I wanted to do because sense of expression. I've always wanted to be that girl, So, yes, I really did disappoint a lot of people when I chose myself. And it took me time, a lot of time just to redeem myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and for them to see that I wasn't so far off. Yes, I went through what I went through, the confusion of life, growing up and all of that. But it was also about them believing in my dreams.
And
trusting me. Thank you very much. Having faith in the fact that I cared about my life and I wanted something out of it. And that I also wanted them to let go of what they thought success is. Because to our parents, and I can't blame them because everything else is a gamble. You gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta be. It's a Ronaldo, it's a one,
it's a gamble.
and Usain Bolt. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. So this they'd not seen. They had not seen. So yeah, I had to disappoint them in choosing myself.
Wow. Did you follow-up question, but for mental health? Yeah. In the mental health angle, did you feel like at some point you needed to forgive yourself for any of the mistakes you made, if you feel like you made any mistakes?
Oh, absolutely. You gotta forgive yourself in order to move on. You otherwise you'll be stuck in that space of, oh my goodness, you'll be stuck in your head. There'll be a lot that will be going on in your head. So you gotta forgive yourself and say, listen, I was young. There are certain things I needed to go through for me to learn certain lessons. And I also live by the mantra that try not to have regrets, because at some point you did exactly what you wanted to do. Because in that moment, that's what made sense to you. Exactly. So try not to regret it. Just try and see it from the point of, at that point, it's what I wanted to do, And especially for people that care for their lives the way I do. I care about my life. I care about my future. I actually want my life to mean something, So I had to forgive myself and say, okay, I might not have taken this path that everybody expected me to take. I'm here now, and how do I make the most of where I am? How do I become the best in this space that I'm in now?
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you for sharing that. And what has motherhood taught you? You're a mom of two, What has motherhood taught you, and what legacy would you like to leave for your kids?
Gosh, motherhood. Funny story. Earlier on, I took Brooklyn to her visa appointment, and I say to her, So I'm actually responsible for you, that I have to, they say you're a minor that needs to be accompanied to these things. Like, you're actually my responsibility, that I have to care about
You're
and
in
worry
charge.
about, and whose life I must plan. And from there, I had a doctor's run with Bryson, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, it's a lot. So definitely motherhood teaches you selflessness,
Okay.
unconditional love, empathy. It motherhood.
It's the expression on your face.
It teaches you everything. Patience. You gotta be a patient. It teaches you. You search deep within your soul, because you're looking at these little people and you don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah.
You want them to look at you one day and be proud. You want to give them the best things that you never had. You want them to have, you know, and oh gosh, it's a beautiful thing. All in all, it's a beautiful thing. It's got its moments where you, especially when with Brooklyn, I was that mom. I remember for the first time, this first 6 months of her life, I never, not even for a minute, separate from her.
Wow.
Where I was, she was. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. I wanted to know that I was doing my best as a mom. I had just become a mom, and she's all I had at the time, you know. And so yeah, you know, you die to self and live for somebody else.
Yes.
You're living for somebody else when you become a mom. And you know what they say, that kids mirror what they see, so you want them to mirror the good
Also
things.
mirror the good things.
So you're not sure whether you're protecting them too much from the world, or you're exposing them to enough, because the world is not kind out there. And every day it's a day of discovery, you know, and they guide you through it sometimes, because now these kids are grown.
They're very,
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta listen to them. They've got opinions,
Yeah.
which
and
they're
they've
not
got
afraid to
feelings.
share. Exactly. And they're growing up in a time that is so different from the way that we grew up. So some of the things that I might think I want to apply from the time when my parents were parenting me aren't relevant to the kids of their generation.
Yeah.
So like I said, you gotta learn your child, your children, and take it, you know, one day at a time, trusting that you're doing your best, and obviously with the guidance of God, because that's where I always then take everything to. That, listen, with everything, we just always gotta put God first. That has really, really helped me.
Okay. Talking about God, you are unapologetically a child of God. We see your posts every Friday. She's praying. Every Sunday, she's at church.
Every Wednesday,
Yes.
midweek.
Also, yes,
Yeah.
Wednesday. So, what does that look like on a hard day, mental health-wise? How do you bring your burdens
So,
to the Lord?
you know, I saw a thing, I don't quite remember how they worded it, but it was something like, being a child of God does not guarantee you that you won't face any problems, but it's knowing that He's always by your side. That was so profound and so deep. So even the Bible tells us that not every day is the same. There's a time to plant, to harvest, to cry, to all of that, you know. But, excuse me, just knowing that you have this higher power that you trust fully. Because every day when I pray, I'm asking the Holy Spirit to guide me and to lead me. I'm asking God's will to prevail over my life. Those are not just words. You're saying you are becoming that. You're saying, God, by myself, I can't do this. But with you by my side, I've got the confidence knowing that it's going to be okay.
Okay.
So mental health-wise, you won't have to have times where you're depressed, or that's always, you know, yes, you can do therapy, take antidepressants or whatever, but there is just so much peace that comes with talking to God.
Okay.
Sometimes I treat God like my dad, who I see in the physical. You've said in your word, this what not I caught scripture. You care about my life. You say that if my Father on earth knows how to give good gifts, what more my Father was in heaven? You've said this. Where am I getting it wrong? Guide me. Don't forsake me. You always say your mercies are new every morning. So it's a journey, and every day you can never fully comprehend God in His totality. Every day you're discovering a new dimension of who He is, a new layer, and that does something to you.
Wow.
So discovering God the way I did and the way I have, and putting Him in the center of my life is by far the best thing I could have ever done for myself.
Wow.
By far. So I walk not with confidence that everything is okay, but I know who I serve, and I know where I'm headed, and I know the prayers I've banked.
Okay.
So I've got times where I know I'm sowing. So whatever that may look like, giving in church. You have to, tithe, all of that, listening to the word, soaking up scripture, fasting, groaning in the spirit, all of those things. This season requires for me to be this kind of person. Then there are moments where you're just moving into the season of harvesting. You are just now harvesting all those prayers that you begged are now manifesting into this life. So even this Essentials where we are right now.
This is a prayer.
It was years of prayer, Panashe.
Wow.
It was years of prayer. It didn't happen overnight. So I always tell people the story of how when I came back from Cape Town, where I'd gone to advance my studies in the aesthetics and physiatric space, when I came back, I immediately thought, because I had done so well, I thought my visa was just gonna overnight get it. I'm out of the country. I tell you, I didn't get that visa. The people that I was in class with, I had done way better than got their visas and left. Mine never came until the company that I trained with, Steiner. It's a multi, if not million, if not $billion company. They rule the seas. They applied for a visa for me. I didn't get it. They applied a maritime one.
Still didn't get
Australia. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because that's the time I was so, you wouldn't shake me in my faith. So I knew. I didn't quite know it then, but I know now that God had a different path for me altogether.
Okay.
Visa
But
Canada, Australia, America, but now the way I get visas,
you're catching flights. Girl.
But because I'm moving in my purpose.
Yes.
When I wanted to leave, it was at a very difficult time of my life. Things weren't making sense for me here, so I thought, let me leave and get a new start. And I had my own plans. That's why I said, when you trust in the Lord, even I remember when we were at that Women in Rising, I said, when you trust in the Lord, the weight is different.
Yes.
So I know that now. So nothing can shake me in that.
Right. If you're not learning, I don't know what you're doing here. But wow, I've just been Baba Tidswat with so much with so much knowledge, and this is why I like doing what I do, because when I listen to people's stories, I learn so much, I grow, and this is the gift I want to give to people also, to grow and to learn and to get to know people
beyond
more.
The facade.
Yes, beyond the Instagram and the social media. And it's absolutely amazing what you've shared, Tanya. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
A follow-up question would be, what's the quietest but most powerful win you've had? The type of win that meant everything, even when nobody was watching. There was no one to clap, but you won.
Surviving personal struggles. Oh gosh, there's a time life could have buried me. If I was one of those, that's actually the time I then found God.
Okay.
And I found him like that. I leaned on him like a crutch, like you would a crutch. I almost lost myself. My mental almost went crazy. So just waking up in the morning, finding purpose. There's a time you sail through life without purpose, or you're questioning your purpose. You're just surviving. You're not living. So surviving that, forget all the materialistic wins. All of those things. There are certain battles that life serves us, and it's what determines the rest of your life, how it's gonna go, whether you're gonna. Life, when it kicks you, it's either you're gonna lie there for good, take a nap, or you're gonna fight.
Take a nap.
Therefore, that check out of life, like, hey, for now I'm out. Exactly. So I would say that was the biggest win, the quietest, but big. But I used to share about it some, on my social media at the time, because I also found healing in just sharing and finding a community of people that had gone through what I was going through, strengthening each other through that whole journey. So yeah, I think I look back now when I realize those were the shaping years of my life. They gave me determination, purpose, direction, a strong willpower, a strong sense of self, and because now I know what I'm capable of. You never know how strong you are until you have to be strong.
Okay.
So I had to tap into that inner strength that even I didn't know I possessed. But obviously, all glory belongs to God. because like I said earlier, that's the time I found him. And boy, he really showed up. He really showed up. You know, when they say that God is closest to the brokenhearted,
It's true.
yeah, people need to believe it. So when you know scripture like that and you're just meditating on all those verses, it all just makes sense. It really does for me, at least.
Okay.
So I don't know how to live my life without being a God's girl. Like, I can't. I really don't know how to live my life.
You are the inspiration, my girl. You are the inspiration
You're
for
kind.
us growing God's girls, you know. But all right, guys, we are going to move into the final segment of this show, but we're going to take a short break and then we'll be right back. So we've gotten to that point, your favorite part of the show, where you ask me to ask my guest a question. And I have a lot of very interesting questions here. I was just showing them to Tanya and she was laughing her eyes out like, guys!
How can I not?
Because people have a very interesting way of asking questions. I love all your questions, by the way. And reminder, this is a safe space. I do not tolerate any hate speech, any negative energy. It's all good vibes. So, but yes, all good vibes. And thank you for actually keeping that, you know, reflecting that in the questions. Most of the questions
They're
are
very good, very
good
chilled,
questions.
very
Yeah.
good questions.
So let's just start with the first one. I'll bring it together with somebody else's. The question is, how did she become friends with Pokelo? And a follow-up to that would be, how has the experience been of watching each other grow?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Such good questions. And I guess there's no Tanya without Pokelo. The friendship has been quite definitive. Does it make sense? Like
Yes,
it's
yes.
it has also really defined who I am as an individual. And I love speaking about our friendship. I've learned and grown through the whole experience. How I became friends with Pokelo. So she's someone I always knew, right? How can you not know her? You know, she's just a girl who's larger than life, Queen of Swag. She's always been the Queen of Swag. So you can't but
Not know her.
Exactly. You can't not notice her when she walks into a room. And, you know, real recognizes real type of thing. You
Yes.
see her, I see you, I see you type of thing, right? And she was in Monash in uni. So she wasn't here for quite a while. But the times she would be back or she'd be around, we used to, you know,
Link up.
see each other a lot. Not necessarily link up, but same circle, same friends.
Oh, okay.
And then what I then remember from back in the day, she then became my client. I reached out to her and I said, I'm working for this place, this spa. We do amazing treatments, whatnot. And I'd really love to work on you. And she trusted me enough to come. She never said no, whatever. And at the time, she wasn't even my friend like that. She's just someone I knew and we were cool. And we respected each other, right? So she used to come and, you know, I used to enjoy, you know, I would hear her footsteps. She has a distinct step. You would know Pokelo is coming.
Tanya, I'm
That's
scared.
it. Coming up the stairs.
I'm slowly being... How do you recognize someone next
Oh, come
year?
on, trust me, if a Pokelo's friend, you would know. You would hear it from a mile
All
away.
right.
So she would come up the stairs, and the next thing I remember, all the girls at the spa would want to see what she's wearing and what she's smelling of.
Of course.
Yeah. And she's just that girl, and we would. And I really wanted her to trust in what I was doing. So I used to, show off my knowledge, in skincare and what. And she started trusting me. And in the end, I would see her regularly. We started exchanging stories. We're now just stalking. We're becoming these people that are confined to a room every now and then. That grew us in a way. And then what then really made me realize that she had taken the shift from seeing me as her therapist, because you also don't want to go ahead of a client and exactly call yourself their friend, because she was still a person that was giving us money at the business, And so she invited me over to her birthday. I remember that birthday that year was at Dreams, and that's the time I was at work and I'd finished so late. I go home, there was no Mageti, and oh gosh, I couldn't go, to the party. And so I called and I said, babe, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to miss this party, whatnot. Akati, if you don't show up,
You?
You know, it was in the way she said it. And I was like, oh, does it really mean so much to her that I show up at her party? Because she had her own camp of people at the time, her own tribe. And I remember I said to my sister, Taku, can you hold up the torches, the two torches, my phone and her phone, did make up Murima, Nema torch, to show up to that birthday.
Because the word was, if you don't...
Yes. The pictures, though, you won't know that, you can't tell that the makeup was done. Like Nema torch. Yeah, I looked so good. We took some beautiful pictures. We had a beautiful time. That's when I realized I actually enjoy being around this girl. So from then on, it just became effortless. We used to now really talk. Now we're now talking from a friendship level, and the rest, as they say, is history. You know. And I like that question.
Growing together.
Growing together. So, you know, Pokela is older than me. Not so old, but old enough for me and to learn a lot. And I guess the experiences she has experienced in her life have sort of like set an example for me to not follow certain things or copy certain things, because she's very wise. One thing people don't realize about Pokelo is that she's she gives good advice. More often than not, I raise my phone before I make a decision. P, what do you think about this? P, she's my sounding board. We are each other's sounding board, and that's the beauty of our friendship. In business, obviously, she was in business way longer before I got into business as well. So she also trusts me, you know, in doing things the way I would do them, at the same time giving her guidance, which is a beautiful balance and a beautiful mix. Saying, okay, Tanya, because I'm the beautician, but she has other things that, you know, I implemented, especially when I was setting up this space. You know, we sort of like have the same taste and all those things, and we travel together, especially when we were doing her house and all of that. And I got to learn and be exposed to all of these things. So it's a friendship that has allowed me to grow. We have the best times. You know, they always say friendship is tested when you travel together. We enjoy traveling together. We can easily share a room. We're just there for each other. Even when I was preparing for this interview, you know, just her saying, no, put on this thing this way, you know, and she's present. We're very present in each other's lives, and we're very selfless. I think we respect each other and we trust each other, and we are very loyal to each other, which always surprises me. You know, we don't address anything that people say about us, because we know our friendship, and she knows what I'm capable of. I know what she's capable of, and that whole hatred thing, yekunzi Tanya notaura kuti chiyaba Pokelo or vice versa. No. Panashe now. So when these things happen, she's the first one to call me. And total sake, and then we laugh about that, because we know our friendship is so solid. We pray for each other, we love each other deep, and these things won't shake us. They won't. A funny story, she sent me this thing ends on DM iwewe ulishamwari yangu ende nezvaunoziva neupenyu hwangu tikatadza kuwirirana or tikabreaka friendship betaufe. So I listened to that thing and I was like, yeah, Beckett, girl, like, yeah, this friendship. So we owe it to ourselves to protect it. It has taken us so much to build, and people try it at every step of the way. They want to come in with the comparisons. We're different people. I'm happy to learn. I mean, there can only be one Beyonce. There can only be one First Lady. There can only be one person with each. So, compare is unnecessary, very unnecessary, and we don't stand for that in our friendship. And that's what has allowed us to build this little band kedu katinako, and it works for us.
Wow. I like everything you've said, because 2 episodes ago I did a solo podcast, and I was talking about adult friendships. And I was asking people about how you know, the things they've experienced in their adult friendships. And I guess as a follow-up question, in that light, how do you know that this is your person as a friend? Because you know how adult friendships can be very traumatizing.
They can be. And unfortunately for me, I've never really had a friendship that I would say is traumatizing. I've always known how to handle myself around friends. I'm very genuine. So one thing you hear my friends say is, Tanya might say anything, even if it comes across as mean, it's coming from a good place. So I'm the kind of person who would not let you walk out, you know, looking anything bad, you know, and I would say, go, or whatever, but it's coming from a place of love and wanting you to put your best foot forward. So very loyal as well. I'm very, very loyal. And I protect my own fiercely. So a lot of adult friendships, a lot of the people they're either they become friends vakura, so or they're competing. It's usually when they
there's
start
a lot
competing.
of competition going
exactly.
on.
That's the minute you start to do that with a friend, walk away.
Okay.
Walk away, it can get really ugly. I've never experienced it personally,
But I've seen
and I've heard stories, and it all stems from a place of wanting to compete. How about adjusting each other's crown? How about so you find with it simple things like I'll say to Poki, I'm not going to post this thing because it's not showing you in the best light. Exactly. Things like that. Just look how like be very selfless.
Okay.
Be very loving. Be very empathize with the person even throughout because Poki anorama. Anorama ndozvaari. So ndakutoziva kuti okay, with my friend, it's not that she doesn't love me but it's just her genetic build-up doesn't mean anything. So then it was never real because one person has to be like, hey, it's okay. I know when you're emotional, this is how we handle the situation. Let's cool off and let's reconvene later. And when you do that, it's like that never happened. You understand? I also have my faults that she has had to put up with. Because I'm also very stubborn. But I want her to trust in my decisions, and over time she's grown to say, okay, even the kachano but so it doesn't mean the friendship is perfect. It has its issues, but we now handle everything in a very mature way, knowing that I can trust you with my life. Likewise, you can trust me with your life. So back to your adult friendships thing. When you've seen your friend cry and vice versa, when you've cried over certain things, when you've felt, it can be over whatever situation, that it really changes you. That heart just swells and swells and you fiercely want to protect that person. That's the instinct that kicks in. So I'm like that with all of my friends.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow. Follow-up lesson on, friendships. There you have it from the friendship guru. Here we are.
I don't know how I got that title on the internet, but
exactly how passionately you are speaking about it.
I'm very passionate about my friends. All of it. So so the Poki, that friendship is obviously so celebrated because of who she is. She is, the biggest celebrity we have in the country, right? The most followed person as well. So people are going to talk about her more, but that doesn't disqualify the other friends that I have, the other ones that I grew up with and all of that. And they can testify that even for them, I try and show up for all of my friends. I'm very intentional about it. So even if I go for days or speaking to one of my friends, I'll be like, hey, are you okay? I'm very intentional about it. I want to make sure that everybody feels heard, seen, loved in that they met and that they know that I'm there.
Okay.
Even my friends, like now when I was coming to this podcast, my friend I've been calling you wrong time, but I still have to be there for her, and she's always the way in America. But that doesn't mean the friendship has to break. So it's my levels, of course.
Levels,
but like all of them mean something to me.
Wow, thank you for that. Follow-up question from somebody, and she says, how does she handle hate from people?
Oh gosh,
because you are that girl, and naturally
they tell you things like hate is what, and is jealous must is what, I don't know how those things go. So for me, I don't even pay attention to those things. Panashe, I really don't. First of all, I don't know you. You're not in my life like that. You don't know my life. You don't know me. So you've no right to hate me. You have this perception of me based on what I post on my social media. So now you want to form an opinion. Happy days. Do you, boo, I'll do me. So as long as you're very happy in your life and you have, like, I've got this camp of people that are around me, from my family, my siblings, my children, my friends. Who cares?
Okay. All right.
Really, who cares? So I'm not one they laugh. My friends laugh. So when they go either Facebook or whatever page, social pages, they go on and they see these things about me. It's things we laugh over a coffee.
Okay.
Over is an afterthought. It doesn't change the price of fish. It doesn't change anything. The hatred does not change anything, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It really doesn't. Not in my life, at least.
Okay. Thank you.
So I ignore it. That's how I handle it. I
ignore it.
I ignore it.
You've never been.
No.
Yeah. All right. No. Last question. How do you handle complaints as a beauty therapist?
From clients, gosh, that's a solid question. You're in the service industry. You can't avoid complaints. When people walk through our doors, they have their expectations of what that service, what it looks like exactly in their heads, or where they've heard about it or seen it on TV or wherever. And So first of all, we validate every complaint.
Okay.
You gotta validate because you want to know where it's coming from.
Okay.
So if it's because we didn't do our job very well, best believe we really are quick to take action in either compensating or whatever that may look like, depending on the situation at hand, right? But you gotta validate every complaint, understand where it's coming from. At the same time, protecting your team because you also don't know these people that are coming through with their complaints. It might be for malicious reasons. They might want to get somebody fired because they don't like them. I remember when I was working at the spa, there's a lady that called and said, what that whole modeling thing now following me. You know, person that I didn't even know. They wanted to jeopardize my career. Now, if my manager had listened to that, I would have never had a career to talk of. So you gotta find a balance of how to protect your employees, how to protect the integrity of the name, and still make the client feel heard, understood, and compensated. So yeah, it's different ways of handling it according to the situation presented. But like I'm telling you, clients' complaints are important. They grow you, they grow your business, they actually help you improve. So when they complain, it's also showing their expectations. And I always like it when people see us up here. That shows we're capable. So
you have to...
Exactly. We have to bring it up a notch. So we take everything in our stride. We take everything in our stride. And there's a way that clients present their complaints that can tell you whether it's genuine or it's a person looking for attention or a hater who's coming as a client. Yeah, so yeah, but you can't ignore and either, you know, you can't ignore anything. You just have to handle it and do the best that you can. I've got a team. I've got a manager, a very capable one. I've got a very capable PA as well. The whole team at this place knows how to be professional and how to do their job to the best of their ability.
Wow, okay. All right. Without turning you into the businesswoman again, because I could tell business was now moving into the room.
We're going in.
Before we get
in.
Hey, this is the end of my questions for now. For now.
Would it part to...
Yes.
I talk a lot, don't I?
I absolutely love it.
No.
I absolutely love it. I feel like you have a lot to share and your story must be heard.
No, but don't forget that I said I'm talkative as well at the beginning of the podcast.
We love it over here. We love it over here. We don't mind.
Thank you.
We love
for
listening and learning.
Me and everything that I bring.
Thank you for taking time and hosting me here at your lovely establishment. I mean, this place is so beautiful.
Had you been here before?
No.
Punch in the face.
Yes, I deserve that.
To say that.
I deserve that. But
the time was coming. You're here now. That's all that matters. I'm here now.
Yes, and thank you for hosting me here and just taking time. You're such a busy lady, you know, and I appreciate even that small, you know.
No, thank you for creating a space and a platform for us, you know, just to share our side of things, you know, because sometimes they don't care. So just sitting down.
It must be done.
Yeah, thank you very much for the safe space.
It is my absolute pleasure. And for you at home who are watching, thank you so much for watching again. Simple Conversations with me, Panashe Kimberley. Until next Wednesday. Bye.
Cheerio.